I've known Craig Watson for a really long time, but here I'm just going to focus on his impact on the college. I could tell a lot of stories, but I'll just focus on his enormous, really, impact on Monmouth College. First thing I guess I would talk about would be his advocacy for the liberal arts. I don't think anyone can compare. Other people around here, myself included, are huge advocates of liberal arts, but I think few can exceed Craig's zeal in that area. Heavily involved in the Gen Ed program for a long time, freshman seminar, which became ILA, heavily involved in that. Heavily involved in the integrated studies program, had a lot to do, more than anybody I think, with developing the citizenship component. So he's all over that kind of stuff. Second thing I'd talk about, and a very visible contribution and more recent contribution, is the development of the college garden and the college farm. He works like crazy out there. He advocates for the farm and the garden, does a lot of field work himself. It's a remarkable legacy, and I hope it lasts forever. He also teaches about food. He teaches a wonderful citizenship course, so I've heard anyway, called Land, Food, and Sustainable Agriculture. Shows kids from the Midwest who grew up around cornfields and soybean fields an alternative way about thinking about food production. And then I think his greatest contribution is got to be just the impact he has on students, especially students, I'd say, in the English classes more than any place else. The literature classes, about which he has tremendous passion, and the writing classes too, the English 110s that he teaches over and over, like all those poor souls in the English department do. He's really good at making good writers better writers, but he's also really good at making struggling writers better writers. And I know for sure from students I've known that he works really hard. If they're willing to work, he's willing to work with them. So last thing I guess I'd say, it reminds me of a quote that I ran into from a student. So I want to illustrate the effects he's had on students. A student I know pretty well was reminiscing about her 20th reunion last homecoming. This is on Facebook. So I'm going to quote briefly from, it's kind of not the whole quote, but I'm going to quote briefly from this. She's sitting in her room, and her roommate is in there. Her roommate says, "All my classes are boring. I don't like any of my professors." The student says, "I was stunned. I worshipped my professors." And she goes on to say, "Even if I just had Dr. Craig Watson, English professor who encouraged, mentored, and taught me, and so many others with a dramatic sense of urgency about the value of modern literature, modern American novels and poetry, even then it would be a life-altering experience. The privilege of being taught by someone so passionate about their subject material and getting to learn from them every semester for 4 years is such a gift." So I think that kind of sums up the way I think quite a few students feel about Craig Watson. So he's been a wonderful asset to this college. Craig, congratulations on your wonderful career, and I'll be seeing you around.
Hi, Professor Watson. My name is Cassie Burton. I graduated in 2015, and I just wanted to say congratulations on your retirement. Back when I was a sophomore, you so graciously agreed to become my academic supervisor once Rob Hale decided to abandon all of us for Bowling Green pastures or something. So thank you so much for your guidance and for passing on your wisdom. I really enjoyed American Survey, and a large part of that was because of your enthusiasm for it. So thank you.
Hi, my name's Jess Bybee. I graduated from Monmouth College in 2014 with an English degree. And my favorite Dr. Watson memory is from Modern American Poetry junior year. He kind of stopped mid-lecture about Wallace Stevens to recite Postcards from the Volcano. He closed his eyes, he delivered it brilliantly, and then when he opened his eyes, we were all crying silently. So that's what I will always remember about Dr. Watson. He can always hold a room, and he can make you cry. Most of the time it's from beautiful poetry. Sometimes it's because he's a tough grader. I've cried for both reasons. Dr. Watson, congratulations on your retirement. I'm honored to have been in your classroom. Cheers.
A few words about Craig Watson. Craig Watson was a valuable mentor to me. He always wanted the best for the college. He He valued rigor and high quality, and he tried to bring that to his classes and to his colleagues and to the college at large. He was also fun to hang around with. Me and him and Doc spent a lot of time together. Especially remember a time up at his cabin in Michigan with an unfortunate trip to the emergency room that maybe you could ask him about sometime. Dancing at the Thunderstep with Farhat and Mohsen, and Doc, of course, was there. Doc was always everywhere. I'm glad he got to realize the vision of the garden, because I know that was something he always dreamed about. Glad that came off. And just want to thank him for being an excellent colleague and wish him the best in retirement.
Hey there, Professor Watson. It's Jacob Duncan here. I just want to thank you for being such a great teacher, advisor, farmer, and all-around great person. I'll always remember the summer where you taught me how to do a bunch of random farming stuff while quoting to me Araby by James Joyce. Probably one of the best summers I've had, and definitely the most memorable summer I've ever had. I wish you the best of luck in all your future endeavors, and go get 'em. You can do it. You're the best.
Hey, it's Eric Engstrom. I'm taking a break from planting a cornfield to make this little video tribute for Craig. Craig would approve of my taking a break from the cornfield, because I don't think he approves of my planting it. I'm standing in the Watson Blueberry Field. It's not an official name, but that's how I think about that. If Craig's got a favorite spot on this farm, I suspect this is probably it, nearest and dearest to his heart. Pretty amazing. Craig, this is all you. I know you had a lot of help with this. I know you had a lot of help putting this in, and I know you've had a lot of help keeping it going. I've helped from time to time, but this is your vision, and it's your commitment that's kept this going. Look at this. It's just astonishing. So I did not want to miss this opportunity to say thank you for these 5 years that you've let me intermittently help you out, work alongside you, and I've been learning a lot from you. It's come to my attention recently when I work with students out here, when I work with them in the lab, the hands-on stuff in particular, that when they are accepting my invitation to work collaboratively, collegiately, as a peer, that there's a little bit of you coming through me when that's happening, and I think I've learned that and gotten much better at that watching you do it out here with the students. So thank you for that, and thank you for all the opportunities. We're going to try and keep this going in fine shape. Take care, Craig. Thanks.
My favorite Watson memory would be from English, I think 201, Intro to English Studies, where he decided to recite the lyrics to Night Moves as a spoken word poem, and I have absolutely no idea why that happened or why it was relevant. It may not have been, but I just remember really enjoying that. I'd like to thank Dr. Watson for always pushing me to be a better writer and, more importantly, a better critical thinker about literature and also the world around me.
I think all the time about a story that Dr. Watson told us in class once about finding a journal recently from childhood, and as he flipped through that journal, he found all of these revelations and lessons that he had written about at the time that had, struck him, that were hard-won. And all of these lessons and revelations that he had written about as a child, he could have sworn he had just arrived at in his adult life. He had just learned these lessons as an adult. And the lesson of that story being that we're always relearning the same lessons, the same stories, the same themes will pop up throughout our lives, and that we should expect that. Knowing to expect that has been a major guiding force in my life. I really do think about that story all the time. It was an honor and a joy to be an English major and to work with the English department, and Dr. Watson was a huge part of that. So happy retirement, Dr. Watson. I wish you all the best, and be well.
Hi, Craig. I speak to you today not for myself, but on behalf of your faculty colleague, Annie Moore, who is also retiring this year. Annie's a little camera shy, but I thought her sentiments were well worth sharing, so here goes. Craig, I thank you for always being open to discussing new ideas about literature and gardening. Those who cultivate the soil cultivate the soul. If you think of it, only one letter to differ the two. I will never forget harvesting cantaloupes with your student crew, many of them halfway rotten. The cantaloupes, I mean. Yet with dirty, stinky hands, we kept joy in our heart and accomplished the task. It is one of my favorite memories of MC. We talked with the same enthusiasm about Japanese beetles, Paris, and those less-known writers too seldom introduced to students whom you chose to feature in one of your most recent courses. I would like to honor you with the words of Christopher Woods in the Didicus for his book Garden Lust, for I think you belong to these people he is referring to and saying thank you. Mr. Woods writes, "And for the gardeners of the world, you with the crazy eyes and rough hands, you artists and scientists, poets, protectors and advocates, you who fall in love again and again. I thank you for being a really nice colleague. Be well, Annie."
Hi, Professor Watson. This is Caitlin Faw, now Caitlin Gregoric. I graduated Monmouth in class of 2014. I just wanted to congratulate you on your retirement. It's well deserved. My fondest memory in the classroom was when you read Wallace Stevens' Postcards from the Volcano. That memory has stayed with me all these years, and I often go back to that poem. So congratulations and enjoy your retirement.
Hello, Craig. Congratulations on your movement into retirement. You've had a titanic impact on Monmouth College through the years, and the way that we have most benefited from that impact is our extensive taking advantage of the college farm and garden, of which you've played such a huge role, and for your giving the naming rights on Charybdis, the Japanese beetle vacuum, to our children.
Best wishes in this new phase of life to both you and to Peggy. Thanks for everything.
Hey, Professor Watson. Alex Holt, class of 2012. I heard you were retiring, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you. You know, when I got to Monmouth, I did not want to be there. I was there to get a business degree, and I was going to get out as fast as possible and have a materially successful life. And then I took your honors course, and we read this, and I changed my major and got to read things like this. Some things you wrote in here. Books like this. And I realized that what I really wanted was to spend not just college, but my life asking real questions, important questions like who's there and who are we and what does it mean to have a self and be a citizen right now in this moment. And those are the questions that define me to this day. And I would not be the person or the professional or the partner that I am without having you as a role model to show me just how satisfying it is to live a passionate life of the mind. So thank you so much for everything you've given me, everything you've given so many people, and I wish you a really happy retirement. I hope I get to see you soon. Bye.
Hi, Professor Watson. It's Megan Horak from class of 2017, and I would like to congratulate you on your retirement, and I wish you well going forward. I remember taking your class, American Lit, and I went on to get my master's in library science, and I would just like to tell you that the works that you introduced me to helped inform my decisions as a librarian, and I'm definitely using the knowledge that you gave me and my classmates. I would like to thank you for holding us to a higher standard when we were in your class and pushing me to be a better writer and a better thinker. Congratulations again, and I wish you the best of luck on everything.
I've had the pleasure of knowing Craig Watson as both an unconventional student and as a friend. I started sitting in on his classes back in around 2010. The first class I sat in was a Shakespeare class, And I eventually sat in on 2 or 3 of his classes and found him to be an absolutely brilliant professor. The one that I remember the most, well, there's 2 actually, the Shakespeare course, and then I also sat in on an African American literature course, which is something I knew nothing about. Wound up reading all 15 books of that Craig assigned, and it was just an incredible experience. I think the best thing about it, the best testimonial, was I had an opportunity back around that time to go see President Obama. Some friends invited me down to Quincy for a front row seat to see the president, and that would have meant missing Craig's lecture on As You Like It in Shakespeare. So what did I do? I chose Craig and Shakespeare over the president at the time. But that was how, just professes to what an excellent teacher that Craig is, passionate teacher. I also got to know him as a friend. We began going out to dinner with some of our friends. It started out with Craig and Joanne Gotti and I, and what a privilege it was to sit and listen to Craig quote Shakespeare and other authors, and then Joe regale us with stories of national news coverage. It was a treat to be along for that. We added on Steve Bubin later. The vote was kind of close. We're still not sure how that happened, but anyway, Steve's been joining us ever since. But Craig, it's been really a pleasure and privilege to get to know you, both again as a teacher and as a friend. And I'm looking forward to plenty of other good nights out at good restaurants in the area. Congratulations and enjoy your retirement.
Professor Watson, Chad Kaiser, class of 2007. I just wanted to thank you, sir. Raise a glass. Congratulations on your retirement after a wonderful career. There's so much that I learned from you. I cherished every single minute I had in every one of your classes, even though you intimidated me and scared the living pants off of me. But thank you so much for teaching us everything, and I hope you have a wonderful retirement.
Hi, Dr. Watson. This is Andrea Madden, class of 2006. I know you're retiring this year, and congratulations. I'm really happy for you, but I do know that future English majors are going to miss out on learning from such an amazing professor. I just want to thank you for fostering such a love of literature and English and just learning in me. It's something I've carried with me into everything I do. I even named my cats Sawyer and Finn, which should be a pretty big nod to the literature love right there. But thank you for teaching me not just what to think, but how to look at things, and how to appreciate the written word. You're truly an asset to the entire Monmouth community, and your absence will be felt, but I'm really excited for you to retire, and I feel like it's really well deserved. So thank you again. This is one of my cats right here. Thank you again, and I hope for nothing but the best for you in your future.
I think I took every single class that you taught between fall 1995 and spring 99, not just the treasured courses in my English major, but also issues and ideas and literary criticism cross-listed with philosophy and tutor training. So I think I can speak with great authority on the content and style of your teaching. And as much as I would like to give a fully formed précis, I have been asked to keep this short. So I would like to say thank you for everything that you exposed me and so many others to, whether it be the first lesson in freshman year creative writing on the difference between sentiment and sentimentality, all the way up through just the philosophy and history and psychology that you brought to everything we were reading in addition to the literature, and just the commitment that you brought to that in every single class. And thank you for that and your mentorship and for taking me seriously as a student when I had a lot to learn. So congratulations, and I can never thank you enough.
Hi, Professor Watson. I just wanted to say congratulations on your retirement. You were such an incredible professor, and I learned so much from every class I took of yours. Thank you so much for the impact that you had on me and for making my experience at Monmouth memorable. Best wishes to you on this next step.
Hi, Dr. Watson. It's Missy Metz from the class of 2009. I want to pop in and congratulate you on your retirement. I also want to thank you. I want to thank you for being a fantastic, amazing, wonderful professor who I really enjoyed taking your classes while I was at Monmouth. You are our freshman Intro to English professor, and I couldn't have asked for a better professor to introduce me to what the 4 years at Monmouth were going to be in the English department. Some of my best memories of Monmouth come from working with the English professors and working with the English students. What I learned in your class are some of the styles that I teach my students now. I try to teach my kids to think outside of the box, which was something that you really, really pushed us to do throughout some of our classes. One of my favorite memories was when we were watching Equus in class and you were sitting in the back with your aviators on. All of the freshman English students thought you were so cool and you were just this out there professor. And throughout the next 3 years having you in class, I learned that you were just a very inspiring professor, and you inspired me to want to be the same thing for my students today. So thank you so much for everything you've done, and I hope you enjoy retirement. I'm excited to find out what your next adventure will be. Enjoy. Bye.
Hi, my name is Amy Miller and I graduated in 2015. I took only one class with Dr. Watson, which was American Survey, but it was a really impactful class. I took it when I was a sophomore and I was still pretty shy about participating in class. I was just sort of getting comfortable with speaking up in discussions. I remember one class period, we were having a discussion about a Henry James text, and I decided to speak up just about something I had noticed. And one of my classmates scoffed at what I said, which kind of derailed me. And when we asked her why she scoffed, she said I had a really condescending tone. I remember I just sort of wilted because I didn't expect that reaction, and it sort of felt really demoralizing in a time when I was still just trying to work on speaking up more. Dr. Watson got this look on his face, and he pinned this classmate with a stare and said, "No, I want to hear what she has to say," in this really firm tone of voice. Then he looked at me and indicated that I should just continue. I have a lot of good memories of Dr. Watson and that class, but I think that's one of the most significant memories I have because he encouraged me to continue speaking. He left me with a feeling that what I had to say was important and worth listening to, which is important in general. Dr. Watson was a really great teacher, and I'm incredibly grateful that I got to have a class with him. So thank you, Dr. Watson.
Hi.
Hi, Papa Watson! Stop laughing at
Just
me,
wanted to
Rob.
wish you a. Wait, what?
Stop laughing at me and say hi.
I did say hi.
Oh, I was yelling over you, which is pretty classic.
Yes, it is. Hi. As you can see, we haven't changed at all since we graduated. So we just wanted to say congratulations on retirement. We just wanted to, throw a big thank you and talk about maybe our favorite Watson moments that we recall. Teresa, did you want to do maybe like a thank you or a reminder of times past?
Yeah, I think, you were the chair, you were the gentleman that kind of stirred me through Monmouth, and I always appreciate that. And I've always thought about all of the classes I've ever taken with you. And it was so funny when I was getting together to do this for you, I dug on my bookshelf and I found it. This is the symposium book that we read through in honors, and I will never forget. To this day, I will tell people this story of you singing Tina Turner to us, but not really singing. It was more like you were singing it, sort of like the gentleman from My Fair Lady. Remember that movie? Yeah. But anywho, so I tell people that all the time. But no, I always appreciated every class I took with you, and I also always appreciated you telling us I remember in honors you telling us kind of about like how you got to be professor of English and just about your path and how it wasn't necessarily from A to B to C. And that's definitely not been my path. And I always keep that in my mind that like not everyone's path has to be straight. And I've honestly told more people, I've mentored others with that story, and that's always been really impactful for me. So thank you for just being a mentor of mine, and I'm really excited. You deserve some rest. Just go sit in your house, drink some scotch, and enjoy your years. Monsieur Raleigh.
Every time I think of my Monmouth experience, and like I think of like that one Watson story, there's always one that pops up for me. And the funny thing is, you were only peripherally like aware of this. You may remember me like casually mentioning it to you, but I remember we had read in I think English 200, Design by Robert Frost, and we were talking about it, Teresa and I. We were just kind of walking past the English house, and suddenly 3 white cars drive past us. And you know, the whole idea with design is the idea that there's these white colored omens. And so we thought, oh, that's so funny, you know, Watson would get a kick out of it. And then without skipping a beat, you just walk right out of the English building. And Teresa and I lose it. Like, it's just so funny, such a funny moment where we're talking about like whether, you know, something can be an omen or if it's just in our mind, and then bam, that happens. So I always think of that moment fondly, just how it was applied to our lives. Just wanted to say thank you. I'm a teacher now myself. I'm an English teacher just right outside of Chicago, and I try to take that like serious, critical look at literature and applying it to like the real world. And I take from you and those other professors. So I want to say thank you for kind of passing on the lessons that you did. So I think that's all I got to say. Enjoy your retirement, man.
Oh, what's love got to do with it? Got to do with it. What's love but a second-hand emotion?
Did we really just do that? Okay. That wasn't bad though. That was good.
All right, signing off. Congratulations. Enjoy every bit of it. You deserve it.
Take care, Watson.
Hello, Dr. Watson, and congratulations on your retirement. Actually, when I think back on my college experience, I think of 2 pretty vivid memories, both involving your guidance. One of which was Honors 110, where you encouraged us all to find the master key of the disciplines, really build that conceptual language so that you can build that bridge from your known to unknown of each of the disciplines. It was in that class that I realized that I wanted to be an English major. What better way to understand language than to be an English major? And even though I hemmed and hawed around for a few years, I think it was my junior year when I settled actually on being an English major. But coincidentally enough, that leads me to my other bookend memory of my college experience, which was a particularly insightful and honestly scathing email from you during my senior thesis, where you encouraged me to develop the training of the mind, I think you called it, to confidently choose a pathway and do the deep, dark work of plowing through those woods of uncertainty. In this case, it was Faulkner's woods of uncertainty. And I probably think of that email on a daily basis to help guide my life, and I certainly appreciate that and your guidance. So thank you, Dr. Watson, and enjoy your retirement.
Craig, it's hard to believe this day has arrived. It's been a long time since we've worked together, but you know, there's that old saying that correlates absence and fondness, and I have many fond memories of you. You're very much wrapped up with my memories of Monmouth College. Specifically, probably most of my memories of you involve us being in some meeting or other, and very often you would pound the table for emphasis on whatever argument you were making. It could be quite dramatic, but it was almost always justified because the cause was true, the cause of what a liberal arts education can be. And I thank you for all of your decades of fighting very good battles at Monmouth College. It was clear working with you and on campus that you were having an impact on your students' lives. But I hope now, looking back and on your retirement, that you also have some inkling of the impact that you had on your colleagues' lives. It was an honor and a pleasure to work with you. And so I send you this greeting with great respect and fondness from across the miles. Hopefully I will get the chance to toast you in person someday after all this pandemic craziness. But until then, cheers, my friend. Congratulations.
Hi, Dr. Watson. Congratulations on your retirement.
Congratulations. Kelly Seaman and Eric Seaman, we are now living in Georgetown, Texas. We just want to congratulate you and share a couple memories. I think I had you for American Lit. I only had you for one class, which is a true shame. But I remember you singing, "They paved paradise to put up a parking lot." And I believe that I knew that you were going to do that because it was already, someone had already talked about, just wait until Dr. Watson sings this. I remember that. And then I remember one time Eric and I taking a walk on campus, you know, picturesque, beautiful day, and you walked by us. And I just remember that memory. You said something like, two lovers walking on a beautiful afternoon. And, you know, just, you are such a memory, such a Monmouth memory for me, for sure. And, you know, we learned a lot from you. And then Eric has some.
I wanted to congratulate you as well on your retirement. You were a foundational figure in my life, and I think about you all the time. And to give you a couple memories, I forever love Eugene O'Neill because we talk Dionysian theory and just this Bacchus silly term paper that I wrote in your capstone class, and so proud of it.
You were so proud of that paper.
We live in Texas. You know that curve you show everybody, like liberal arts degree, and then the potential value for businesses, and you've done that for me because I'm in IT. Every day I write, and every day people pay me to use the skills you taught me, and I'm forever thankful. Okay, congratulations.
Leave on a high note, tell your funny story.
Okay,
tell your funny story. Leave on a high note.
The story, when I talked to my friends about Dr. Watson, is some kids from Oxford came, Oxford debate team, I think. They got up into our fraternity house, and we were drinking gin with them for all night until my 9 a.m. meeting with you. And I made the meeting, and I think it was productive. And as I leave, and I'm walking out the hall, and I'm pretty sure Rob and Mark are there, and you just go, this whole floor smells like gin. and basically, it was a good butt of a joke there at the very end. It's stinking up the whole floor of gin. But I made your meeting because it was that important. I'm just so forever thankful. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Hey, Dr. Watson. This is Chad Simpson coming to you from Knox College. I haven't been at this desk for a little while, and I don't really know what to say now that I'm behind it. But Jane is holding a camera and us off stage, which kind of reminds me of the time in your modern and contemporary poetry class when you had us do recitations. She played a recording of Marianne Moore's poetry and then lit a candle and hid under the desk while it played, which, if I remember right, you took in stride with good humor. I hear you're retiring, which makes me excited for you, I think, overall. I'm mostly here, I just want to say thank you for all that you did to help shape me as a writer and thinker and professor, and I want to wish you the best in whatever you do in the days ahead, and thank you not just for shaping me, but also shaping Monmouth College and everything you gave to the English department and the college as a whole. And if you get bored and you're looking for something to do in the near future, I have a novel draft that's just about done. I'm going to be looking for readers. Just kidding.
Hey, Dr. Watson. Congratulations. It's Paige Halpin-Smith from class of 2009. This is Isaac, and we are in the closest thing to Walden that we could find here in Lexington, Kentucky. I just want to thank you so much for helping instill a love of literature, even though Rob Hale made sure I liked Victorian literature a whole lot more. And I want to also thank you for just being a wise community leader and mentor and man of faith and lover of family and gardens and good parties. And those are the lessons that I am most thankful for in my post-Monmouth days. But cheers to you and a happy retirement. I bet your garden is excited to see you. Can you say bye-bye? Cheers.
Craig, you know, I nearly broke quarantine and went down and filmed this in your garden, because some of the funniest times that I've spent in my career here have been watching you give that garden tour at the English department party. The truth is, though, that sitting in front of a row of books, including a first edition Hugh McDermott right there over my shoulder, seems like the right thing to do. You have been a font of literary wisdom for my time here. But more importantly for me, you have been a role model in how to be a chair, how to work for the good of a college, no matter what it is you are doing, whether that's in the classroom, whether that's in the advising, whether that's working one-on-one with students, whether it's working through the committee system or against the committee system, whether it's arguing with the administration or working for the betterment of the college, or even sometimes just taking Fabio out and driving around the neighborhood. All that you have done during your time at Monmouth College has made it a better place. And it certainly has enriched my life. When you hired Hale and me in 2000, it was a great moment for me, but I didn't realize how great it was going to be to have you just down the hall for all those years. Thanks for all you've done. Thanks for all you've done for me.
Dr. Watson, who art in Wallace, I know that you might not be in Wallace Hall very often in the near future. But I remember once you said that you would give a pinky to have written a poem like Mr. Flood's Party. So I hope that you get to spend all your free time writing the poem that you always wanted to, and I hope that you can hold on to both pinkies.